Hello students, I am going to discuss geometrical ideas, basic geometrical ideas in this video. Myself Sweety, I am an educator by profession in the field of teaching since last more than 25 years. So first and foremost, we'll begin with the concept that is the basis of geometry basically. Now start with you need to understand the meaning of a point. Point, it is the position or location on a plane surface which is denoted by a single capital letter like this A. This is a point. It can be denoted by any of the capital letters of the English alphabet like X, Y, Z, whatsoever. Then we come to the definition of line segment. Line segment is a collection of points. It is a part of a line which has a finite length, right? It's a collection of points, part of a line which has a finite length. For example, this PQ, it has a fixed length. Line segments can be measured. For example, this PQ, say it is of length 3 centimeter. And how do we denote a line segment? This way, we put a line segment symbol over it. Then next we come to the definition of line. It is made up of infinitely many points with infinite length at its end point. We make two arrows at the two ends to show that line is of infinite length. Two letters are used to denote a line like this, XY. And since it extends indefinitely on both the sides, it cannot be measured. So XY, we put the symbol over it like this, right? Then we come to the definition of a ray. Ray has one fixed point, it's fixed at one point, and on the other side it extends indefinitely like this. Say R S, this is a ray. At the point R, it's fixed, but on the other side, it's going on extending indefinitely, and we show it like this. We denote it this way, a ray. Next, we come to the definition of intersecting lines. Two lines are said to be intersecting when they meet at a point, right? For example, this is an intersecting point. And lines can also be denoted by using small letters like this, M, L. So M and L are intersecting at the point C. So C is the point of intersection of two lines. Correct? Lines, even if they do not appear to be intersecting, they might intersect when they are extended on any one of the two sides like this. So when we extend the lines, they're meeting at this point. Next, we come to the definition of parallel lines. Parallel lines are the ones which do not meet and the distance between them remains the same always. This way. The two lines which do not meet at all and the distance between them remains the same are said to be parallel lines. This distance is the same between the two lines. Like the railway tracks, that's the most common example of parallel lines. Next we come to the definition of curves. Anything which is not straight is called a curve, right? Something which is not straight is called a curve like this. Now curves can be simple curve. Simple curve are the ones which do not cross themselves. Which do not cross. This is a simple curve. Simple closed curve in fact. Now the curves can be open as well as closed. Open curves are the ones which do not cross themselves, that do not have an, open simple curve are the ones which do not cross themselves and which do not meet also. Okay. The two endpoints of the curve do not meet. So this is an open curve. Next we come to closed curves. Closed curves are the curves that do not have an endpoint. Okay. And is an enclosed figure. Curves that is an enclosed figure like this. This is a closed curve. Okay. Now, all the curves, a closed curve, it has three parts. So, what are the three parts of a closed curve? Interior, the points inside. Suppose this is a closed curve, right? The points inside this curve is said to be in the interior of the curve. The inner area of the curve, right? The inside portion, the shaded portion. The shaded portion forms the interior of the curve. Then we have the exterior of the curve. The points which lie outside the curve are said to form the exterior of the curve, are said to be in the exterior of the curve. And the boundary of the curve are the points which lie on that curve. And it divides the interior and exterior of the curve over here. So this is the boundary of the curve. which divides the curve into two parts, the interior and the exterior. Next, we come to the definition of polygons. Polygons is a 2D closed shape that is made up of line segments, mainly straight lines, right? So, for example, this is a polygon. Straight lines which make a closed curve is said to be a polygon. It is made up of straight lines only. And the sides are what? Suppose this is A, B, C, D, a polygon. Now, the line segments A, B, B, C, C, D and AD are said to be forming the sides of the polygon. And then you need to be familiar with another term called the vertex. The points A, B, C and D are the four corners are actually the four vertices. Next, you need to know the meaning of adjacent sides. Adjacent sides are the sides which are next to each other, like AB and BC. They are an example of adjacent sides, AB and BC. BC and CD, the sides which are next to each other basically are called the adjacent sides. Same way, we can define adjacent vertices also. The vertices which are next to each other basically. For example, in this figure, A and B are adjacent vertices. Again, B and C are adjacent vertices. C and D are adjacent vertices. Then you also need to know the meaning of diagonals. It refers to the points joints of the vertices which are not adjacent to each other. For example, AC. If we join the two vertices which are not adjacent to each other, then that forms the diagonal of the figure. For example, over here AC is a diagonal. If you join B and D, the two vertices which are not adjacent, we get a diagonal. BD is another diagonal of the figure. Next, you need to understand the meaning of an angle. A figure formed by two rays which share a common endpoint. Angle is formed by two rays where the fixed endpoint is common. That forms an angle. Now, the rays forming the angle are known as the arms or sides. This is known as an arm, or it's also called a side of an angle, right? And the common endpoint, that's called the vertex of the angle. This common endpoint is called the vertex. Now, angle is again associated with three parts like we have for polygon. Interior, this part is the interior of the angle, okay? This area inside the angle basically. And exterior, it refers to the outside or the outer area of the angle. This region forms the exterior of the angle. Then we have the angle boundary. The arms of the angle, they form the boundary. So this part forms the boundary of the angle. Now, how do we name an angle? Many students make mistakes in that. Now, we use letters to denote the rays like this. So, how do we name this angle? We call it as angle ABC. The common vertex should be kept in the middle of the angle, right? The common vertex should always be kept in the middle. We cannot name this angle as angle BAC. Why? This is wrong and this is correct. The common vertex should be in the middle while naming an angle if we are using three letters to name an angle. So this is how we name it. You can also name it as simply B. The common vertex which is at the middle, we can also use that for naming. Like we can also name it as angle B. There are other ways of also naming an angle. We can use small letters also to denote an angle. But if three letters are given to you, make sure that you keep the letter which is there for the common vertex in the middle. Or you can simply use that letter even. Next we come to triangle. Triangle is a three-sided polygon. You've already understood the definition of a polygon. A three-sided polygon is called a triangle. Now, triangle, suppose ABC is a triangle. Here the vertices are A, B and C. The three corners are the vertices. Sides are AB, BC and CA. And angles, there are three angles. Since this is a three-sided polygon, it has three angles, angle A, angle B and angle C. Triangle also has an interior, exterior and a boundary as per the definition. Then four-sided polygon is a quadrilateral. It's called a quadrilateral. A polygon having four sides is called a quadrilateral. So I'm drawing a quadrilateral over here. A, B, C, D In this quadrilateral, the four corners are the four vertices. A, B, C and D are the four vertices. Then the sides, quadrilateral has four sides, A, B, B, C, C, D and A, D. It also has four angles. The four angles, we can denote them as angle A, angle B, angle C and angle D. What are the opposite sides? The sides which are opposite to each other are called the opposite sides of a quadrilateral. Like in this case, opposite sides are AB and CT and AD and BC. These are the two pairs of opposite sides. Then opposite angles are the ones which are opposite to each other. What are the opposite angles in this? Angle A and angle C, angle B and angle D. These are the opposite angles. Then we have adjacent angles. The angles which are next to each other, basically. Angle A and angle B are the two adjacent angles. Then we have angle B and angle C and so on and so forth. There are four pairs of adjacent angles. Now, polygons, four-sided polygon is called a quadrilateral. Then we have five-sided polygon, which is called a pentagon. Then six-sided polygon is called a hexagon. Seven-sided polygon is called a heptagon or septagon. Eight-sided polygon is called an octagon, nonagon, so on. And you also need to understand the meaning of regular polygon and irregular polygon. Regular polygons are the ones in which all the sides are of the same length and all the angles are also of the same measurement. They're called the regular polygons. Now next we come to the definition of circle and various parts related to circles. Now circle is a simple closed curve and it is not considered a polygon. It is a simple closed curve. I'll draw a proper circle once more. Yeah. So this is a circle, right? It is a simple closed curve and is not considered a polygon. All the points on the circle are at a fixed distance from the center. From one point, all the points on the circle are at a fixed distance from that fixed point. So this is a circle. So you need to understand the various terms associated with circles. The fixed point is called the center of the circle. This is the center, O. All other points are at a fixed distance from that point O. Next we come to the definition of radius. Radius is a straight line connecting the center of the circle to the boundary of the circle. And the plural of radius is radii. For example, over here OP is the radius of a circle. And next we come to the definition of diameter. Diameter, it is a straight line from one side of the circle to the other side passing through the center. Like suppose if I extend this line OP on the other side such that both the points of this line lie on the circle and it passes through the center. So, and I name this point as Q. So PQ is the diameter of the circle and diameter is always equal to double of radius. Right? Next we come to the definition of the circumference of a circle. Circumference means the perimeter of the circle. It refers to the length of the boundary of the circle, which is the perimeter of the circle. And there's a formula for calculating it, 2 pi r, where the value of pi is 22/7. It is a constant. Right? Now, there's few more things which you need to know about a circle. This is a circle. Now, a chord. Chord is something like this. It is a line that connects any two points on the circle. It's called a chord of the circle. Right? A chord divides a circle into two parts. The area between the chord and the arc of the circle is called segment. Now this is one segment. It's also called the minor segment because it's the smaller area of the circle which is getting covered. And major segment is the area between the chord and the greater arc of the circle, bigger arc of the circle. So that's called the major segment. Right? Then you also need to know about sector of a circle. And I'm drawing a circle over here. Center, I'm joining with any two points on the circumference of the circle. So it is the region of the interior of a circle enclosed by an arc. This is an arc of the circle, right? So, and this is the center of the circle. Let's name it as OPQ. So this area is called the sector of the circle. The area that I've shaded, that's the minor sector. Sector is the area between the two radii of the circle and the arc of the circle. That's a minor sector, and this, the bigger portion over here, is called the major sector. And then a circle also has an interior, exterior and a boundary like all other figures. Semicircle means half of the circle. When we say semicircle, it means half of a circle. Now, whenever any figure is given to you, there are two main things that you're asked to find out. One of them is the perimeter. Perimeter is the length of the boundary, and you also need to know the area of a circle, right? So, perimeter and area we can easily calculate. Perimeter and area of a, let's start with a rectangle. The formula for calculating the perimeter of a rectangle looks like this. The two sides of the two sides are of equal length, opposite two sides are of equal length, B and B. Rectangle is a kind of quadrilateral in which the opposite sides are of equal length and each of the four angles is 90 degree. So the formula for the perimeter of this will be 2 into L plus B. Perimeter basically means the length of the boundary. So you have to measure this. So 2L plus 2B, that's the perimeter of a rectangle. Formula for finding the area of a rectangle is length into breadth. We get the region covered by the rectangle basically. Formula for that is length into breadth. Then square. Square is like a rectangle only. The difference that in square all the four sides are of equal length. All the four sides are of equal length in a square. So like this is a square. So suppose S is the side of the square. So how do we get the perimeter of this? Perimeter will be 4 into sides. Since all the four sides are of the same length, we can add them up or simply multiply 4 with the side. And formula for area of a side is, area of a square is side into side. That's the formula for area of a square. The same way for a circle, I have already mentioned it before. The formula for circumference, which is the perimeter of a circle, is 2 pi r. And the formula for calculating the area of a circle is pi r square. Value of pi is equal to 22 by 7. And r is the radius of the circle. So these are the fundamental concepts of geometry which has been covered in this video. Hope all of you find this useful, and in other videos I'll be discussing the other concepts also. So stay connected. Thank you so much.